Rocky was born into a modest family in a remote village, surrounded by green hills and fields that stretched to the horizon. Life in the village was uncomplicated but often harsh, defined by the rhythms of nature and the seasons. Rocky was the second youngest of 5 siblings, each of whom learned early on that life required resilience and resourcefulness. His parents worked tirelessly on a small plot of land, doing their best to support the family, but resources were scarce. For Rocky, childhood was a time of learning the basics of survival and growing up with an unshakable sense of duty toward his family. His parents believed that while wealth could be lost, a good character was a treasure that no hardship could take away. They often reminded their children that honesty, hard work, and integrity would carry them further than riches. From an early age, Rocky showed an insatiable curiosity and a love for learning. He was drawn to the few books that managed to make their way into the village, and he would listen attentively whenever travelers stopped by to share stories of life beyond the hills. These tales sparked a longing in him, a dream of experiencing the vast cities and strange lands the travelers described. Yet he couldn't imagine leaving his family behind, as he understood the weight of his responsibilities at home. But as the years passed, Rocky became increasingly aware that the opportunities for growth and learning in his village were limited. He realized that if he stayed, he would likely live out his life in the same way his parents and their parents had. So, with a heart full of mixed emotions, excitement tempered by fear and a sense of guilt for leaving his loved ones behind, he made the difficult decision to venture out into the unknown. He packed his few belongings and left for the nearest city with nothing but a small bundle of savings and a fierce determination to make something of himself. When he first arrived, the city was a bewildering place, loud and bustling with people from all walks of life. The sights, sounds, and smells were unlike anything he had ever known. Though he had prepared himself, the reality of city life was even harsher than he had anticipated. Jobs were scarce, and living costs were high. He had no connections and very little money, which quickly dwindled as he struggled to find work. There were nights when he went to sleep hungry, his resolve waning under the weight of his circumstances. Finally, Rocky managed to find a job as a helper in a small shop that sold spices and essentials. The pay was minimal, but he threw himself into the work, grateful for even the smallest income. His days were long and filled with menial tasks, yet he tackled each one with a dedication that caught the attention of the shop's owner, Mr. Patel, a shrewd but kind-hearted man. Over time, Mr. Patel noticed Rocky's commitment and started entrusting him with more responsibilities, allowing him to manage the inventory and interact with customers. Rocky took every opportunity to learn, asking questions and observing the business with a keen eye. His natural inclination toward detail and his strong work ethic paid off, and within a year, he was promoted to a managerial role, a rare achievement for someone of his background. Although he was grateful for the opportunity, Rocky's ambitions went beyond managing someone else's business. He dreamed of creating something of his own, something that would reflect his values and hard work. He knew it was a risky goal, but the thought of returning to his village empty-handed pushed him forward. He began saving every penny he could, cutting back on personal expenses and living a frugal life. Over the years, he managed to save enough to open a small stall selling handcrafted goods, items that he had learned to make back in his village. The initial days were challenging, a competition was fierce, and there were days when he didn't make a single sale. But Rocky remained undeterred, each setback teaching him valuable lessons about business and resilience. He learned the importance of understanding his customers' needs and began tailoring his products to meet those demands, even taking on custom orders. Slowly, his efforts began to bear fruit. His commitment to quality and his genuine nature attracted a small but loyal customer base. People began to recognize his craftsmanship and the pride he took in his work. His stall, which had once been overlooked, gradually became popular. As his reputation grew, so did his sales. With every bit of profit he made, he reinvested in his small business, expanding his product line and improving the quality of his materials. Within a few years, he was able to transition from a stall to a modest shop in a more prominent location. Success, however, came with its own set of challenges. The pressures of managing a business, handling finances, and keeping up with rising competition began to weigh heavily on Rocky. He was often overwhelmed, facing problems he hadn't anticipated, like managing employees, dealing with suppliers, and handling taxes. There were times when he questioned his ability to sustain the business and worried about the possibility of failure. The weight of responsibility felt like a burden he could barely carry, and there were countless sleepless nights spent wondering if he had taken on too much. In these difficult moments, Rocky would remember his parents' words about resilience and integrity. He reminded himself that his journey wasn't just about personal success but about building something meaningful. He resolved to treat his employees fairly, to be honest with his customers, and to remain humble, regardless of how successful he became. These values grounded him, helping him to navigate the complexities of business without losing sight of what truly mattered. As the years went by, Rocky's business continued to thrive, allowing him to employ others who, like him, had come to the city seeking a better life. He took special pride in hiring young men and women from his village, offering them the same opportunities that had once been given to him. He provided them with fair wages, taught them the skills he had learned, and mentored them in the ways of business and life. Seeing their lives improve and knowing he had played a role in their success gave Rocky a profound sense of fulfillment. It was more rewarding than any financial gain, for he felt that he was giving back in a way that honored his humble beginnings. Eventually, Rocky achieved enough financial stability to return to his village, where he fulfilled the promise he had made to his family. He invested in their land, helping his parents modernize the farm to increase its yield and hired local workers to ensure the fields would continue to thrive. He built a new home for his parents, one that provided them with comfort and dignity in their old age. But his ambitions went beyond his family alone. Rocky set up a small school in the village, believing that education was the key to breaking the cycle of poverty. He wanted the children of his village to have the opportunities he had once dreamed of, and he knew that knowledge would be their most powerful tool. Over time, Rocky's legacy grew beyond his business achievements. He became a source of inspiration, not only in his village but among those he had helped in the city. His story was one of perseverance, humility, and an unwavering commitment to a dream that went beyond personal gain. He often reflected on the journey he had taken, from a boy with big dreams in a small village to a man who had built something lasting and meaningful. For Rocky, true success wasn't measured by wealth or status but by the positive impact he had on others and the life he had built that honored his roots. His life became a testament to the power of hard work, integrity, and the belief in a vision that, in lifting him, had uplifted those around him as well. In the end, Rocky's journey was about far more than his own accomplishments. It was a story of giving back, of leaving a legacy that would continue to inspire others for generations to come.